Welcome to Jeremy's Tech Channel, and today we're taking a look at Garuda Linux. Garuda Linux is super cool. It's an Arch-based Linux distribution, and it seems to be really built around trying to give gamers the best experience through Linux. The other thing about it is this: because they focus on trying to get that performance for gamers, you get a great performing operating system. Let's take a look at their website, and then we'll hop onto a virtual machine and check it out for ourselves. So here is the Garuda Linux website. They have multiple desktop environments that you can immediately get up front. The installation is with the Calamaris installer, which many of you are already familiar with. And it comes with a file system, ButterFS. Is it ButterFS? Is it BetterFS? Who knows? The other piece is they ship with the Linux Zen kernel. It's a faster, more responsive Linux kernel optimized for desktop, multimedia, and gaming. Result of collaboration effort of kernel hackers to provide the best Linux kernel possible for everyday systems. I just read that for you, but that's what I've read overall, and I have spent a little bit of time with Garuda Linux, and there does seem to be some snappiness there. Here's your minimum requirements. So here are the different versions. You have the KDE Dragonized. It's their customized situation, and not only that, they have the Dragonized Edition, they have the Dragonized Gaming Edition, and they have the Black Arch Edition. Black Arch is a penetration testing distribution of Arch Linux. It essentially gives you a lot of cybersecurity tools as well. So that's really cool. Obviously, they offer GNOME, they offer XFCE, they offer LXQT, KWin. You can read, but here we are, the different versions that they have available for you. I just wanted you to see that each one is not just throwing a desktop environment or window manager just up there. They look like they've tried to tweak it to try to give you what you need. This is something I didn't see before. Garuda Linux Bare Bones is made for users who do not want extra software and functionalities to complain about. Bloat. It contains the bare minimum of packages needed to get started. So let's go ahead and take a look at Garuda Linux in a virtual machine, go through the installation process, and see what it's like. So here we go. So this is the live environment that you boot in to Garuda Linux, and you can get a basic sense of what the UI is and what they are going to provide for you. But I want to go ahead and just run through the installation process. Let's go ahead and install Garuda Linux. The Calamaris installer, I've seen it on multiple distributions now as I'm learning Linux, and it is really great, straightforward, graphical way to install something. Leads you through these pieces. Next is getting your drive ready for installation. And we're going to put my name and install. Install now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up so you can at least watch the installation screen go. If you're new to installing some operating system on a computer, whether it's on a virtual machine or on your hardware, you may want to see what to expect. So I'm just going to speed this up and move on. Here's the login screen. Here is what sets Garuda Linux apart from other Linux distributions. This next step of the installation process, to me personally, I think is great. It takes a little bit of time to get going, but it actually saves you time on the back end if you're not exactly sure what you're looking for. So there is a setup assistant here, and we're going to say yes. Update the system recommended, and it's going to go through an update. So it just finished updating. It takes a little bit to get the updated situation because with Arch-based Linux distributions, it's a rolling release, which means updates are coming out all the time to give you the latest and greatest. So there were some things like the Linux kernel, some other library files, some other software pieces that were already getting updated. So I have already the most updated system, base system for Garuda Linux. So here we go, setup assistant. Do I need a printer, scanner, and Samba support? I'm going to say yes. Do you want to install additional Garuda wallpaper? Sure. Do you want to install additional KDE components and applications? I can say yes or no. I've gone through and done a review of KDE, the desktop environment, and a couple of distributions that use KDE. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a card up here. But for now, let's continue to move on, and I'm going to say no. Do you need additional input methods? Just right here. What extra software? I mean, this is like, hey, let's get you squared away at the beginning. Do you want to use PAMAC, which is a graphical front end for software installation and applications? I'm going to say no. You can install a couple other kernels if you want some improved security or the fail-safe option, the long-term support Linux kernel. Now you got your Office suites here. You know, I've never seen Yozo Office, so I'm going to select that. What extra browsers do you want? Now it already comes with FireDragon. It says default for Garuda. We can also install the Tor browser, Brave. Let's go ahead and install Brave. And email clients, you can see that. Mailspring is cool, by the way. Communication software is what they're calling this. This is where you can install Discord if you need Discord. Microsoft Teams. What common internet software do you need? AKA FTP clients, network file sharing, Nextcloud client. What audio software do you want? Are you seeing a trend here? They're walking you through everything you might want to get going. I use Ardour, but I'm not going to install it today. What video software? Kdenlive. This is the video player. Dragon's a video player. I use it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that in. And Kdenlive. This is where you can get GIMP, Inkscape. And look, if you're used to Arch-based systems, yes, you can open up the terminal and go ahead and sudo pacman-s and get what you need. Or yay, whatever you need. But getting this all up front just makes me feel like I'm going to be able to get going quicker. Someone who may not feel comfortable doing that, this is all up front for them. Multimedia software, Handbrake, super cool, love that. Kodi and Entertainment Hub. If you still need CD burning, they got some programs there. What development software do you need? Do you need Visual Studio Code? You've got Docker ready to go. That's cool. What virtualization software do you need? Do you want VirtualBox? Do you want GNOME boxes? Virtmanager, that's the one I use for these videos. What other software do you want? Do you want to pull in DroidCam? And Conky, that's a cool system monitor. Now it's asking me for my password to install the packages. Okay, it finished. And one of the things I noticed that happened, I've never used Yozo before, but it looks like it decided to install some desktop icons up here, which I'm sure we can remove, but I'm going to pull these down for a second. It's evident what they are trying to get those to look like. But here we are, a couple of other things I want to show you in this welcome screen. A lot of these welcome screens in these distributions just are very helpful. Don't just ignore them. Once you get going, you may not need them anymore. You may go ahead and check that show this dialog at startup, click. But if you are a gamer, check it out. Now you can go ahead and install both Steam Runtime and Native. You can install the Hero Games Launcher, which is an alternative Linux launcher for Epic Games, which has got like Rocket League and stuff like that. Lutris, Play on Linux. Some of these I don't even know. Go ahead and getting Wine. Some extra pieces here. Getting your OBS Studio. Getting VLC. Controller configurations. Open RGB if you've got a Switch desktop with some RGB. There's some other tools here. All of these are based to allow a gamer to get their system going as quick as possible. Then, that was just one tab. Then you've got an actual tab of games. And it looks like these are open source games. Some of them are simple. A lot of these I do not know. If it starts with a K, I'm guessing it's a part of the KDE ecosystem. Super Tux Card, I know that one. Extreme Tux Racer. Look, one tab, tweaking and software ability to get serious games. Next tab, a whole bunch of games. And then the next tab after that, you've got all your emulation set up right here. If you're a retro gamer, it's all here. And look, RetroArch with all the cores, and you have all of these specific emulators. If you are going to use emulators, you need to ensure that you own the game before you use the ROM on those systems. Just saying. There's a settings manager, some boot options, network assistant. You have a partition manager right here. They have their add remove software piece, a system cleaner. I'm guessing this is going to be looking for orphaned packages. Let's see what it does. So it found a conflicting package and is going to try to resolve it. Cool. And as you can see here, my memory situation is at 3 gigabytes. KDE just shipped bare bones. You can probably get it running at 700 to 800 megabytes. This is running at 3 gigabytes. Walking yourself around, you've got a menu launcher up here. Obviously, the visuals, there was a lot of care taken in giving this theme, everything from the icons down. It ships with FireDragon, but I believe I also installed Brave. So there's the Brave software that I installed at the beginning process. Also, I believe I installed Kdenlive. There's Kdenlive. And it's just making sure that it launches like it's supposed to. It launched just like it's supposed to. Some neat little pieces up here on the upper right-hand side. You've got your network usage, which you probably saw as we were working on updates. Right-clicking here gives you some extra menu pieces, dashboard, startup apps, system cleaner. Some of these other pieces, an uninstaller, okay. Resources, settings, and quit. And here you go. You've got your KDE Connect again, power management, things that you are very familiar with. And then I love this layout for the calendar. Weather is not configured. Okay. Configure event calendar and weather. And so here we are, New York City, US. Not one in Fahrenheit just because I'm an American. And there is the weather right there in New York City. New York City. And then your user, new sessions, lock screen, and get out of here. So other pieces that are down here, you've got your welcome. Remember that menu at the very beginning, which has really got a lot going on here, and some links to their wiki, their website, how to contact them, some specific situations for cybersecurity is right here. Love that. So on this settings manager and hardware configuration, here are your video display drivers. Obviously, I am running a virtual machine, so NVIDIA or AMD is not showing up. You can change your kernel here. The only one that's installed right now is the Zen kernel. If you remember on that initial process, it asks you, do you want to install a couple of the kernels? No problem. Here's the Garuda Assistant. There's a lot going on here. A system update button, reinstall all packages button, edit your repositories, refresh your mirrors, remove orphans. That's where you get that part. Here's something that you should check out. It comes with Pipewire as your audio support. And you can get Pulse Audio, Jack, and ALSA right there. And your settings here with your default shell. You can get Fish as well, SH and ZSH, which is cool. Your system specs, Garuda Linux. Pretty cool, guys. If you're used to KDE, this KDE version is great. If you don't want 3 gigs running in your system, they have an XFCE version. They have a couple of window manager versions that you can use. So Garuda Linux really is great for gamers, people who are into cybersecurity, people who want to get their system going up front in the installation process, people who really like some unique visuals on their theming. I really came close to using Garuda Linux on my system when I first took a look at this, and maybe one day I will, but for now I am using an Arch-based system. I'm using Endeavour Os, and I really love it. But you could not go wrong with Garuda Linux. It is full-featured, well thought out, a lot of options, a lot of pieces that the developer for Garuda has taken some extra time to give you some quick, easy functionality. I'm going to keep my eye out on this. And if you're not into KDE, no problem. They've got so many other versions there. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time.